All right, so get this. Have you heard about Aria? It's being called, like, I don't know, an open source AI revolution.
Yeah, I've seen some buzz around it. What's so revolutionary about it?
Well, after digging through the research, I can totally see why people are excited.
Hmm.
Um,
What's got you so hyped?
it's even like giving those big name AI models a run for their money, the big guys.
Okay, that's a bold claim. How's it stacking up against them?
It's multimodal, so it can work with all sorts of data.
Multimodal, huh?
Yeah.
So we're talking text, images, videos, all that.
Yeah, all at the same time, which is a big deal because most AI models specialize in just one thing.
Right, right. Makes sense. So, how does that actually work in practice? What can you do with an AI that can juggle all those different data types at once?
I mean, imagine showing Aria a financial report with all the charts and graphs. It just
Ah.
understands it. Or imagine it watching a coding tutorial and then, get this, it just turns around and writes the code itself.
Wow, that's a game changer. Almost like having an AI that speaks the language of all these different fields, huh?
And get this, Aria is open source.
Wait, really? So anyone can use it and even tinker with it?
Yep. Think of it like the recipe for an incredible AI just being out there for everyone.
That's huge. It could really shake things up in the AI world.
Exactly. So instead of a few big companies controlling this super powerful tech, anyone can try to improve it?
That open nature is a game changer. It levels the playing field for everyone, from smaller companies to individual developers.
Absolutely. Now, one article on Decrypt called out a few of Aria's key features, and one that really jumped out at me was its use of a mixture of experts framework.
Mixture of experts. Now that sounds pretty technical.
Right. It does, doesn't it?
So break it down for me. What's so special about this framework?
Well, instead of having one giant AI brain that tries to handle every single task, right,
Yeah.
Aria has a bunch of specialized, like, mini experts.
Okay, so like a team of AI specialists, each with their own area of expertise.
Exactly. Each of these mini experts is trained on a very specific type of task. Some might be great at understanding financial data, while others excel at, say, writing Python code.
Interesting. So when you give Aria something to do, it doesn't just activate its entire brain, it calls in the right specialist or specialists for the job.
Exactly. It's like assembling the A-team,
Mm.
but for AI. You only bring in the experts you need for that specific mission.
That's actually really clever. Much more efficient than having one giant system try to do everything.
And that efficiency seems to be paying off.
I don't know.
The article I read mentioned that Aria is doing incredibly well in those benchmark tests, the ones they use to compare different AI models.
Hmm.
It's outperforming other open source models.
That's impressive in itself.
That's right.
But how does it stack up against the big players? The proprietary models developed by companies with the massive resources.
It's even giving those a run for their money. Models like, GPT-4 and Gemini. It's pretty incredible if you think about it.
It really is. That's a huge win for the open source AI movement. It shows that, with the right architecture and focused development, these open source models can truly compete with those created by these, like, tech giants?
Totally. Okay, so we know that Aria is efficient, powerful, but what can it actually do?
Yeah, that's the real question, right? What kind of real world tasks can it handle?
Well, the article I read dove into some specific use cases that really highlight Aria's potential. The article I read had a whole section on some of the cool stuff Aria can do,
Mm.
and they really put it to the test, like analyzing financial reports, weather data, even debugging code.
Right, because benchmarks are one thing, but seeing how it actually performs in the real world, that's key.
Exactly. It was pretty amazing to see the range of things it could handle. One example that stuck with me was Aria analyzing those financial reports.
Yeah.
It wasn't just pulling numbers from the data. It was like understanding the context, like how different pieces of info were connected.
That's that multimodal power at work. It's not just crunching numbers, it's understanding the why, the how, the story behind those numbers.
Yeah.
So like in this case, Aria was connecting the dots between things like financial trends, market conditions.
Exactly, yeah. And it wasn't just finance. The article also talked about it being able to visualize weather data
Yeah.
and then turning around and writing code based on that.
Wow.
They even had it try to identify different scenes in videos, talk about multi-talented.
Right. Just those examples alone, you can start to see the potential applications in all sorts of fields. Think about something like medical diagnosis, where an AI could look at images, test results, patient history,
At the same time.
Exactly. And potentially provide even more accurate diagnoses because it's considering all those different factors at once.
That's incredible. Okay, so we've talked about the theory and some potential applications, but the article I read went even further and did some hands-on tests with Aria, putting it through its paces.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. That's where it gets really interesting to me because you can have all these great ideas, but when you actually get into the nitty-gritty of how these models handle real-world data, that's where you really see what they're made of.
Absolutely. And the first thing they had to do was they fed Aria a research paper and told it, give us the gist,
Hmm.
basically summarize it.
Yeah, pretty standard task for AI, right? Test its basic comprehension, how well it can synthesize information. So, how'd Aria do?
It did pretty well on the accuracy front. Like it definitely got the core concepts of the paper and presented them in a concise way.
Okay, so no hallucinations or going off on weird
Oh,
tangents.
thankfully, it's stuck to the facts, which is definitely a good thing.
Yeah, when you're talking about summarization, accuracy is key.
The one little thing, though, was that while the info was good, Aria's delivery was, well, I guess you could say it needs to work on its presentation skills a bit. Like it would spit out these long, dense paragraphs.
Ah, so aced the content, but the formatting needs work.
Pretty much. I guess it's not a world-class editor just yet.
Yeah, that's fair. Still, though, it's definitely something to keep in mind as these AI models continue to develop. Because it's one thing for an AI to be able to generate information, but presenting it in a way that's engaging and easily digestible, well, that's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes sense. You can't be good at everything, right?
True, true. So, what else did they have Aria try?
Okay, so moving on from the research papers to something a little more visual, they had Aria analyze a screenshot of cryptocurrency prices, like straight from CoinMarketCap.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. They're really putting it through its paces, huh?
Yeah.
Because you've got the image itself, the prices, the symbols, all that. It's a lot for an AI to process.
Right. And on top of that, they asked it to try to order the cryptocurrencies by how well they were doing, and then even generate some code that would create charts based on that data.
Wow. So they weren't making it easy for Aria, huh?
No, definitely not.
So how to do? Was it able to handle both the image part and the coding aspect?
It was really interesting, actually, because um, it was kind of a mixed bag. Like, on the one hand, it was able to generate some code, working code, from that screenshot,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty impressive when you think about it.
Yeah, that's not easy.
But it did struggle with that ordering task, actually getting the cryptocurrencies in the right order based on their performance. It seemed to get a little tripped up by how everything was laid out visually.
That makes sense. Even for us humans, extracting that kind of precise data from a complex image, it's not always easy. You have to be able to recognize those patterns, filter out distractions.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a good reminder that even with all the progress we've made in AI, there's still a lot of room to grow, especially with these more nuanced tasks.
Absolutely. And I think it highlights those areas where, further development and fine-tuning is needed because, imagine if AI models like Aria were able to really nail this kind of image understanding, right? The
Yeah.
things we could do in fields like medical imaging or even self-driving cars would just be incredible.
Oh, totally, totally. Huge implications. Now that you mention it, I do remember the article touching on how Aria's video understanding could be useful for content creation and stuff. There was some testing they did with video as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, they wanted to see how well it could actually understand, interpret video content, which is like a whole other level of complexity. What kind of video did they use?
Well, they showed Aria a video of a person, and get this, the person wasn't talking. They basically wanted to see if it would make up dialogue.
Oh, interesting. To see if it would hallucinate. Yeah, that's a common issue with some AI models. So did Aria fall for it?
Nope.
Mm.
Not at all. It totally passed the test.
Yeah.
It accurately described the scene, mentioned the person, and even pointed out that there was no dialogue, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's like it has some common sense, at least when it comes to video.
That's a good sign. It means Aria is not just seeing a bunch of moving pixels and then making up stories to go along with it. It actually understands what it's seeing, or at least it's trying to.
Right. Okay, last but not least, the article I read wanted to see if Aria had a creative side, right?
Oh, so the artistic side of AI. I'm intrigued. What did they do?
So they gave it the ultimate test, write a short story.
Bold move.
Yeah.
And how to go. Because let's be real, AI and creativity haven't always been the best mix.
I know, right? But this was actually different. They gave Aria this detailed prompt all about time travel, paradoxes, even threw in a character named, and I kid you not, Jose Lance.
Wow, that is very meta. All right, so what happened? Did it work? Did Aria deliver?
It totally did. And it
Yeah.
wasn't just like spitting back the prompter. I think it actually wrote a story with a plot, character development, even like a little twist at the end.
Wow. Okay, they weren't kidding around with this test. That's amazing. Did they compare it to other AI models, other language
They
models?
did. They actually did. And honestly, out of all of them, Arya's story was by far the most interesting and creative. The others were just kind of, I don't know, bland in comparison.
That's incredible. It seems like, with the right data and the right prompting, these multimodal models, they can actually tap into something, I don't know, something resembling creativity. It's
Yeah.
not just about processing information, it's about using it to build something new and interesting.
Totally, yeah. So I think we've covered a lot of ground here, from Aria's architecture and how it works to its real-world capabilities and potential applications.
Yeah, and the possibilities really are pretty much endless, especially given that it's open source.
Exactly. I mean, anyone listening who's interested in AI can go check out Aria right now.
That's right. It's all out there on Hugging Face, just waiting to be explored. Who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to take Arya to the next level.
It's exciting to think about.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about one AI model, it's about what that model represents. This future where these tools, these incredible tools, are available to everyone.
Exactly. That's something worth getting excited about. A future where anyone can learn from it, contribute to it, and help shape the future of AI. And that's really what makes it so revolutionary.
Couldn't agree more. And that's it for our deep dive into Aria, the open source multimodal AI that everyone's talking about. Hopefully you enjoyed learning about it as much as we did. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep an eye on the ever-evolving world of AI, because who knows what amazing things we'll discover next.